everyone. Today we talk about New Zealand as a study abroad destination for Indian and international students. For a country which is known for their mountains and rugby teams, our country which is known for their scenic beauty, but that country just got 5.3 million people. Imagine just not even a small or a tier 2 city. It's all about a population of New Zealand. The advantage of that is, if you're really good, you can settle there, you can make a mark for yourself, and you're not having to go after lots of competition to get a job, to get a house, or to earn a very happy, healthy lifestyle. Right, as I always say, and even when we did a report on New Zealand last year, which been launched by Education New Zealand, I was pleasantly surprised by my research of my team, by my team research, wherein all the 8 universities in New Zealand is in the top 500. Right, so it's a serious destination which Indian students can consider, especially in today's world, wherein tariffs and white papers and MD 111s are across all the top 4 destination. So as an alternative, or even as a option where you can get quality education, not very you don't need to break your fortune, or you don't need to break your bank to have a global world class education. It's a serious contender to be looked at for students who are looking for better value for money, jobs opportunities, and also as a destination where you can learn, live, and achieve. Let's understand New Zealand higher education ecosystems. So right on the bottom, you have English language schools, which are 100 plus. Then we have PTEs, which are called private training establishments. Right. Then we have Maori Tertiary Institution, and then we have ITPs. There are 16 ITPs, and there are 8 universities. And these 8 universities are in the top 500 across 7 to 8 main cities in New Zealand, which are Wellington, Auckland, Hamilton, Christchurch, Dunedin, to name few. If I want to name few universities, so University of Auckland, Massey University, University of Waikato, University of Otago, these are very popular ones. And let's talk about numbers. So there are approximately 1,25,000 international students, out of which around 10 to 12,000 are Indian students, which comprise of 10% of Indian students in international student overall. This number at peak went as high as 1,25,000 in 2015-16, and went as down as 75,000 around COVID. Now New Zealand back, going back to its peak, about 150, 25,000 students. Hence, it's a great time to apply for New Zealand universities, because they are looking for good quality students from all across the globe, especially with Indians, because of and it's very it's very prevalent, because the kind of India specific visa relaxation they have offered, that shows that how welcoming they are for Indian students especially. Why New Zealand, and what is driving the buzz? As per the University Living New Zealand report of 24-25, the numbers speaks for itself. There are more than 10,600 students of Indian origin who are studying in New Zealand currently, and this number gonna be around 20,000 by 2025-2026. India is now New Zealand's second largest country of mobility, where the number gonna increase or just go double in next 3 to 4 years. And what are the reasons? So degrees are globally respected, a clear post-study work rights, and it's very peaceful and organized. There's certainty, which is driving confidence of Indian students choosing to study in New Zealand. And as I mentioned, it's safe, it's secure, it's peaceful, it's also not very expensive, and there's a outcome-driven education which is New Zealand is providing to Indian and international students. And there's high trust in education systems, especially for Indian families who have migrated 20-30 years before. Now they are first generation, second generation, they have studied from there. They have realized the quality education, and also they have been doing well in New Zealand because of the predicted certainty in the policies by the government and by education system there. So let's talk about policies and visa clarity, and this is where New Zealand education system as a destination to study abroad also shines. It's clear, student friendly, and transparent. It's very concise. You need 20,000 New Zealand dollar as a living fund. It takes 4 to 6 weeks as a processing time, and it costs anywhere from in the range of 375 to 485 New Zealand dollar to apply to your visa. So it's transparent, it's budgeted, it doesn't take long to get to know whether you're getting through or not. So in all scenario, it's a very student friendly, transparent, clear policies and option for Indian and international student to explore New Zealand as a study abroad destination. In addition to these policies, your work right policies are also in your favor as a student. You get to work 20 hours per week every semester if you are studying in New Zealand, which is again great to cut cost or to take out your expenses, and probably reduce financial burden for you and your parents if you're studying in New Zealand. Another big updates, Indian degrees from NAC aggregated institution is exempted from third party assessment. By the way, NAC means National Assessment and Aggregation Council. So let's talk about policy and visa changes. This is where New Zealand shines. A concise, transparent, student-friendly visa policies which provide students and their families a confidence, to send their kids to a country which provide them opportunity to study in a globally recognized universities where they get opportunity to do a post-study work visa, and also there are India-specific visa relaxation which add to the appeal of studying in New Zealand. Let's talk about living expenses, right? As everywhere, the living expenses are comprised of accommodation, which takes around 30 to 40% of your overall cost in your living expenses. Then it's your food, then it's your transport conveyance, and then of course, miscellaneous like insurance, travel, eating out, shopping, right? So these are the 4 or 5 component of living expenses. And as I just mentioned, you need to show 20,000 New Zealand dollar per year, as your living fund. And if you be going to Wellington and Auckland, which are a bit more premium, or I would say it's like Delhi, Mumbai, you are ought to spend more in Wellington and Auckland compared to Christchurch or Hamilton or Dunedin. So wherein if you're going to Wellington and Auckland, you'll be spending anywhere from 1,800 New Zealand dollar to 2,500 New Zealand dollar per month, out of which, as I mentioned, around 800 to 1,200 you will spend on accommodation, around 150 you will be spending on public transport, rest is food and miscellaneous. So let's talk about accommodation, right? Housing is still a challenge and an opportunity, right? As New Zealand is still not very established housing market, especially for PBSA, or as we call it, organized accommodation, so it's always advisable to start early, look beyond university halls. Let's say if you're going to Auckland, if you're looking for, you should apply to university halls, but they are limited accommodation. Hence, you need to look outside. So when you're looking outside, there's organized and there's unorganized accommodation. So organized accommodation, which is like a PBSA or a purpose-built student accommodation, that will cost you 600 to 800 New Zealand dollar per month, whereas unorganized you might get into 400 to 600 as a shared flat. So if you're going to, let's say, city like Dunedin or Palmerston North, probably you might get an organized accommodation for 600 and unorganized for 300 to 400. But as I always say, look beyond university halls, start early and apply to university halls, but don't be dependent on university halls. As globally, if you see, only 1 out of 6 students get university halls. Rest need to look outside. So start early. The best practice is the moment you get your deposits paid for your chosen dream university, the city, your campus. So that is the time you should apply for accommodation. And the moment you book your accommodation, you need to book your air tickets, you need to book your airport transfer, get your bank account open from India or the moment you land there. So go as a pro. Just don't land the way I landed. And then, I spend fortune out of it, and also unfortunate out of it. But, not everyone will get a second chance like I got. So I strongly suggest and request to book your accommodation on time, book it from India, go through the trusted platforms, check with your alumni, speak with your university reps and universities, and then choose a safe, secure, value for money accommodation and other value-added services. Because your journey doesn't just stop till admission, even start from admission. Your journey is about right location you are staying, with right people you are staying, you're paying the right budgets, so that you are not, you're not getting burdened financially, because this is one of your best time of your life where you should explore, you should experiment, but you need to be prepared and, and organized, so that you avoid mistakes what we did when we went abroad.